Hello, everybody. My name is Gregory Parks. Welcome to CVG-TV, and you are watching ConLink. With me today is one of the directors. We have a co-head of the gaming department for Convergence. Please welcome Pete Lane. Hello, Pete.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you today?
Partly cloudy.
Excellent. Partly cloudy. But, partly cloudy means less direct sun and less risk of burning. So this year's theme of Convergence is all centered around gaming. What does that mean for you and the whole gaming department?
Wow. So gaming is a very interesting subject for Convergence, I feel. Early in its inception, the gaming department was sort of sequestered on the 22nd floor of the radish tree. And for many years, it wasn't really known as a gaming convention. And although we'd had themes and it was very inclusive to gaming and very gaming forward, and we talked a lot about gaming, we had panels about gaming, but all the gaming was done in a place where not many people wanted to go because it was kind of a challenge, let's be fair. And when we moved to the Hyatt, it became clear that there was an opportunity to maybe change that. And I was one of the members who joined in post-Hyatt. I've been going to Convergence since year 4. But as a gamer, there was always a piece of me that was like, there's something that needs to happen here. And so fast forward to post-pandemic, and we amassed this wonderful collection of board games, and now we've been really focusing on video gaming and bringing that back up to snuff. And that's been the biggest focus this year, is just making sure we've got a full range of gaming opportunities for no matter what type of gaming you do. There's something for you and your friends to enjoy. And I really honestly think it's probably going to be the biggest and best gaming year Convergence has ever had. And from attending from year 4, I can pretty much say that's a definite.
Yeah, you definitely have data to compare. Definitely have data to compare. So that's one of the things that you mentioned, that the presence has grown, and I think it was, at least to me, it was the difference between last year and the year before. There was a definite interest just in that 1 year alone. What were some of the changes that you made between 2023 and 2024 that resulted in such a large growth?
Well, I think one of the biggest things was sort of a natural progression of the social structure. Because we don't have the garden court anymore, people needed a place to go at con that had a social aspect to it. And having this big open area in the Boundary Waters section of the hotel, it sort of gave us this opportunity to let people sit, people watch, enjoy themselves in a much more casual way. And granted, it's not the garden court, but it's the closest thing we've got to it. And I think that's part of what happened. So as much as we want to take credit for that, I do think there's a piece of just people wanting to gravitate towards a very social area. The other thing was the board game collection grew exponentially after COVID. And that was a series of happy mistakes in a way. And now we're up to about 1,000 titles between kids gaming, teen room gaming, and the main library, and we're continuing to add even more. And before at the DoubleTree, we had maybe 50 games in the library. So yeah, just the fact that we focused on trying to cater to board gamers to come and play a game maybe they hadn't heard of before, or maybe I've always wanted to try that. Or my goal personally as a board gamer was I want somebody to come to con and not feel like they have to bring all their own games in order to play them, because they know we've got a copy there. So I think that's what helps.
Now, with all of that in mind, what are some of the other changes that you have for this year that are building up on that success that you can talk about? I don't know if there's anything.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing secretive. No,
Right.
Video gaming, like I said, is our biggest focus this year because we are keenly aware that video games have been lacking in the last few years, and part of that was originally we had the laptop setups, and there was a really fun LAN community that was with Convergence for many years. And that was one of the benefits of being up on the 22nd floor is the people who love to LAN game could just kind of hole up there all weekend long and have, their buddies and just multiplayer game all weekend long. But once we sort of rotated our group of Concom gaming members, we realized that our biggest expense was in fact video gaming. And because we had to pay for licenses, we had to renew software, we had to renew hardware, things would break, and there was just a lot of upkeep that frankly we didn't have the budget for, especially during the COVID years. Yeah. So COVID officially killed the LAN room. And then we've been just trying to find the right fit. We've tried a couple of things through the years, and some of it has been generous members of the Convergence community who just were donating their collections and their times and whatnot. But this year, we're actually bringing in some very exciting things. We have Guys, Games, Beer. They're a podcast community based out of Milwaukee, I believe. I met them at a heavy metal concert in Madison, Wisconsin, and they were also attending 2DCon a few weeks later. So I went to 2D to check out their stuff again because they had machines at the heavy metal concert. Then they had machines at 2D. And then on a trip to Japan I was on in December, they were also on the same trip. So I've established this relationship with these guys, and they're perfect for our community. They're so fun, very funny, and they like beer. But they have this fondness for obscure, strange video games that you wouldn't necessarily find just run of the mill. Like if we just brought in some arcade machines, that's fine. But we're bringing in some really unique things, and I don't personally know all of what they're bringing, because what they do is they basically provide a menu to the convention and say, "What do you want?" And then they throw it all in their truck and they show up. And they're also doing a party room as well. So they're extremely excited to be a part of the Convergence community. And with that, we also have Twin Cities Free Geek coming back, who were a highlight last year for our video game fans. And then also we have LANFest, who is a nationwide group that they do little mini conventions, and they will be bringing in machines to Convergence and providing basically a return of the LAN. But what's nice is that it's their machines, they upkeep, they run it all. If something breaks, they have their parts and they can fix it, and we don't have to worry about having volunteers that know how to do that now. So we can depend on quality video game experiences without needing quality Concon members, basically.
Yeah. without having that expense.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so we've definitely, I mean, it's still not cheap bringing in some third-party folks, especially from out of state, but I do think that it's money better spent, because if something doesn't work out one year, we can pivot, bring in a different group, try something new, and we're not just sort of stuck with the same old hardware we've been using for many years. We can keep evolving, and that's important, I think.
And that flexibility, that ability to be flexible, has been important. And that's one of the things that, with interviewing you, with talking with you, not just this year but last year as well, and seeing for myself and then hearing from other people who spent a lot of, because I have a couple of friends who spent their entire time in the gaming room, that was one of that flexibility and that greater access was a big deal to them. Yeah. And it was magnificent. Like, what sort of things would you say, what information or words would you offer to people who might be attending Convergence for the first time, who have an interest in games, or people who have been away for a bit and were wanting a little bit more in gaming.
Yeah.
What sort of things would you say to them?
Well, that's been my goal as a CONCOM member, and I've been volunteering for Convergence since the very beginning. But this is in most recent years, I saw a need for something, and specifically board gaming. And I mentioned this to you in a prior interview, but you become the change that you want to be. And this is what's happened. And I wanted this vision of a board game library at Convergence that was owned by the convention, and that the convention could continue to grow, and we've made that happen. And for many years, we were not known as a gaming convention. We were notoriously the party convention. And I think we've matured past that at this point. And other conventions have stepped up and taken that mantle, which is great. But now we are sort of in a place where we can be like, hey, you know what? You can bring your family here. You can show up. You can play games. We have such a great library of such unique titles, and it's all homegrown. It's all donations. It's all things that the community built. It's not just one person doing it all. It's the community that came together and created this wonderful board game library. And the fact that we have the Pathfinder Society coming back after many years, and we have Bad Wolf Adventure Studios coming back from after last year's success. So we've got great RPGs, we've got video games back, we've got board gaming, we've got the kids gaming. We really have, no matter what kind of gaming you like, we have it now. And we couldn't have said that 10 years ago. Right. And that's been my goal, is being a member of like Board Game Geek and being on the forums and knowing that a lot of that community, they don't come to Convergence because they maybe used to and said, and there's no gaming. I don't want to come back because that was my focus, is gaming. Yeah. Well, now I'm there to tell them, hey, you can give us a shot. And Tower Games is another great example. They're a very big pillar of our board gaming community in Minneapolis, and especially Kay King, who is just this fantastic demoer. She's known, if you're in the board game community, you know Kay. And we convinced Kay last year to come and run some games for us, and she's coming back again this year. And Sepe Yoon from Fight in the Box Studios is bringing back some games as well. And just to have really engaging figureheads from the community, the board gaming community, they can come to Convergence and have a great experience, and then tell the board gaming community at large and say, you know what, give them a shot again. Yeah. And we are spoiled for choice for conventions in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
But I think, especially now for gaming, we can be a contender for those hard-earned dollars that the fandom has. And we can be picky and choosy as fans for what we're going to spend our money on. And now I think it's possible that Convergence can be considered by some of these board gamers that are a little more picky.
Yeah, for sure. And especially especially with what you were talking, when you've mentioned a couple of times family gaming.
Yeah.
Well, and last year was a big influx of families as well, and the way that gaming integrated with that as well, and helped make Convergence more of a family destination. Mm-hmm. Because as people have been going to Convergence throughout the years, some people have started families, and it's been something they've wanted to do.
Yeah.
And last year, I think, was a big growth in that. And I think gaming was a big part of that.
Well, that's great to hear. As I said, I mean, it's been my goal, and to create a space where the Convergence family can just feel like they're home is so important. I moved here to Twin Cities in '99, and I'm somewhere around there. I was asked by the video team at the time, hey, can you help us out? We need a hand. Okay, sure, I'll show up to this, whatever it is. And I was just enraptured by what Convergence was. And I've been back every year since, and and to see now suddenly, something that I always dreamed conversions to be is now coming to fruition is really cool. Yeah.
And it helped have people who've been here over the long haul as well.
Yeah. Well,
people who've seen evolution and then can contribute to the evolution as well.
And like somebody like myself who's been with the convention a long time, it's easy sometimes to feel like change is uncomfortable. And I think not only the Hyatt changing hotels and just knowing that we weren't going to have some of the comfortable things we were used to, but then also the pandemic giving us a chance to really rethink some things has allowed us to be creative and be a little more innovative and try things that were maybe not possible before or maybe a little scary. And I think if Convergence had one big fault is we've been very comfortable doing some of the same things over and over year after year because they're successful, let's face it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta push the knob a little bit forward and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, okay, we know what to fall back on. But in this is the perfect case where we push the knob forward and people are demanding it to be pushed further.
Yeah.
And it's such a great feeling.
And it's great to see in action as well. And anybody who feels good about it should feel good about it.
Absolutely. And even people, I think what's cool is that even if you're not a gamer, there's something still for you, because the just phone games and simple little party games and Trivial Pursuit. I mean, there is a game, whether it be video gaming, RPG, kids gaming, there's something there that you will enjoy.
Yeah. Speaking of changes, and I don't want to take too much more of your time. Speaking of changes, there was more of a footprint last year. Can we expect an even bigger footprint this year? What with all of the changes that you've mentioned, the additions that you've mentioned?
Yes, we were very generously given a little bit more footprint this year because the theme is gaming. And let's face it, Chris Cluey will probably be hanging out in our area quite a bit. And he's a very big personality. We had to open the space up just for him. Right?
Yeah.
So gaming is taking over the entire Boundary Waters area this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So last year there was the 3 programming rooms, and then we had knocked down the air walls from the 4th area to open up that open gaming space. So we're going to keep those 3 rooms, but the farthest room will be video games, completely just packed video games.
Okay.
Second room will be scheduled RPGs, and then the 3rd room will be sort of a flex space for scheduled events, and then of course the open gaming area will be back as well. We're doing a little more smart work with the tabling and just trying to be considerate of the noise levels. Last year it got a little cacophonous, but I think moving some of the RPG scheduled events and just making sure the video games are as far down as possible will keep some of the noise levels at a more reasonable pace. And then kids gaming is back where it was last year. It works so well near Sandbox. I think it's just, we can't move that. And then the gaming help desk will be where it was last year as well. So
really,
we definitely have a bigger space. However, it's not a permanent situation, but I think we've shown that we can really mold to whatever we're given.
Yeah, and the space will be well utilized.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, before I set you free, is there anything else that you would like to say or add that I haven't covered?
I think any success anybody sees in gaming can be absolutely nailed down to the current convention committee group. We all came in during the pandemic and had no idea what we were doing. And there's no one single leader. We all just sort of have our specialties and we're working with it. But we've been such a great team. Ellie and kids, Adina and Steve, who do RPGs and logistical stuff, myself and Kiri in board gaming, and Dan and Amanda in video gaming. We call her Potato, so make sure you say hi to Potato when you're at con. As well as a bunch of other helpers. Like we have just one person who does who does signage for us. And we just have such an enthusiastic batch of people now. And I think that's made all the difference in creating this new and unique space for convergence. And I can just hope that years from now, when I'm no longer with Concom, I can still come, in my walker and say, yeah, I did that. So it's exciting, and I'm honored to be a part of it. And I'm honored to be a part of a team that just has made something beautiful happen.
Well, thank you, Pete. Those are great words. And thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you and the entire games department, crew, team for everything that you've been doing. And congratulations on your success and continued success to you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us again for CVG-TV. My name is Gregory Parks, and you have been watching Conflict.